let's talk about LFOs. Now, we've already kind of talked about LFOs because the envelopes can be used as complex LFOs because of the loop functionality. But we also have 5 different LFOs that we can put anywhere we'd like to any degree using a variety of waveforms. Let me show you. Okay, so let's turn on the first LFO. Do that by double tapping. It says it's on. Let's apply it to something. Let's apply it to oscillator 1's frequency. Okay, it says oscillator 1 frequency. Let's turn all the other oscillators down, put it in mono so we can just hear this. Let's turn up the amount and the rate. We can see a little graphic here. It shows us what we're doing. And we can change the wave. Look, there's variable wave shape. Now it's square. It went from sine to square. Now it's headed towards saw. Triangle. Opposite saw or ramp. That makes it really, really fun and exciting. So let's look at, and right now you can see the wave shape doing its little thing on our OLED display. What we can do if we want is we can turn on 2 and do oscillator 2's frequency. And so on. Let's just go all the way and do oscillator 3's as well. We'll we turned it on just now by holding down the button and turning a knob. It connects the target so we don't have to scroll through everything. We can turn up the amount and the rate. We'll get a really high rate. We'll give it a sawtooth. So now we're seeing that we have the ability to do some pretty serious sound design with this device in the sense that we have 5 strong LFOs that can be directed to a variety of functions. We haven't even talked about the functions that you could direct this to, but already we've got an interesting, if somewhat scary sound. And of course, it doesn't have to be directed towards something frightening. We could direct it to something like pulse width or filter cutoff or let's see. I wonder, let's go to 3 and let's direct it to LFO. Okay, I have LFO 3 affecting LFO 1's wave. So that's going to be weird. Let's just listen to LFO 1. What's LFO 1 controlling? What is LFO 1 controlling? Let's have it control. So LFO 3 The LFO of LFO3 is controlling the wave shape of LFO1, which is controlling the filter cutoff. So you can see it gets very complicated very quickly and very weird very quickly. And that's awesome. You have these very powerful modulation tools with variable wave shape, and you can control, I don't know how much you saw here, but here, I'm just going to read off the targets. We have pitch, amp cutoff, resonance, oscillator FM, filter FM, pulse width, wavetable all, wavetable individual digital oscillators, frequencies of all the oscillators, noise color, oscillator mix. Hey, that's something we could do. Let's get all the oscillators going here. And let's direct this to mix so we can hear all the oscillators coming in and out. Okay, so I'll choose 1, and it'll control oscillator 1. I'll take 2, it'll control oscillator 2. And take 3, it's control oscillator 3. And so we should be able to hear not very much, because it seems like everything is... turn them out. Okay, that's the LFO controlling oscillator 1's amplitude. See, we can turn it all the way down, and it's still controlling its amplitude through the mixer. And we're actually hearing the other ones as well. So you have the ability to voltage control the amplitude using LFO, that theoretically your LFO could be being controlled by your envelopes. So and we can also sync, and then everything, all of these LFOs will be the rate will be in time with your sequences. So like you could basically orchestrate entrances and exits of various oscillators using the LFO that's in time with the sequencer. It gets very complicated. And maybe I'll try some of that once we get to the point where we're dealing with the sequencer. And if you'll notice, you can see the what each LFO is doing. LFO2 seems like it doesn't have a lot of amount going on. Of course, we're hearing the 3 digital oscillators, which are not being harassed with the LFO. So the analog oscillators are just kind of an effect behind the 3 digital oscillators. But yeah, it's and then obviously double clicking, you can turn it off, and turn it on anytime you want. Trying to do it all at once. Oh, I probably frozen the system. Anyway, so the LFOs can control a huge amount. Did I make it all the way through all of the different things they could control? Let's see. So we can control the mix with the LFOs, rates, noise mix, the LFO amounts. We can cause the LFO to come in and out. We can voltage control. We can use an LFO to control another LFO's wave. So you start mixing and matching the envelopes, controlling the LFOs, and the LFOs controlling the envelopes, and you're going to get a performance device that basically is the same as some sort of all-in-one performance device like a modular synthesizer or a Buchla easel. This is that, and you can create an amazingly complex array of performance outcomes using functionality like that, where it is controlling various aspects of performance related sounds. And then when we get to the grid, you're going to find out that you can do even more with the grid. It gets to be pretty ridiculous. But yeah, so our LFOs are super powerful in the same way that our envelopes are.